Hello, how you guys doing? Um, Again, I'm starting new at this. I do have my iPhone 13. I'm gonna try to figure out how to use that with my computer and stuff, but so I got my oldest son and my wife try to help me with that. But I'm getting ready to start disassembling. Like I said, if I gotta take the battery, I'm gonna have to take the battery out, but I'm gonna have to put it back in. I gotta have this in order to start my car. So, a little bit here and there. First, I think I'm gonna take this amp rack out, and then this amp, and go from there. Um, but I did make this box a few years ago. Here are some. And don't cover this top hole here. So the box height,
I want black.
it's alright, is 22 and a half by 15 and a quarter. And this top section, it kind of L's in an L shape. The port is 8 and a quarter by 16 and a half. Well, more like, yeah, 16 and a half. So the total length, or the depth of the box, about 30 inches. There we go. Yeah, 30 inches. And the overall width, that's 36 inches. Now, it drops down, like I said, like an L shape. Let's see here. So it drops down to about 6.5 down. And then whatever the 15 and, I'm sorry, it's actually 14. It's 15 and a quarter out to this piece of wood. This wood's actually an amp rack for this. So technically this width is 14 and a half minus the 30 is what that bottom part is here. I'm sure I can figure out what the cubic foot of the box is, and I know it's way bigger than what probably the specs of the speakers are. I did have a way smaller box for these subs at one point in time with a really small port. The high bass is good, it really sounded good quality. Now, with this large ass box, I've got to run that sub amp down to quarter ohm just to get the bass I'm looking for. But it's some deep bass. It don't like really much anything above 50 hertz. Anything below 50 is great. But but I said I'd record it while I'm doing what I'm doing here. I gotta be extremely careful considering the amount of current sitting here. Definitely gonna need an Allen key. That's my IntelliCharger from Excess Power. Head unit. I'm not gonna put that in my car. It's a piece of junk. And then obviously my workstation, and I got wood for extending it a little bit. I'm not too sure how I want to build the rest of the shelf. I was doing all this in my kitchen, but I decided to come out here and make a nice little spot. But yeah, so let's see here. First things first, I guess I'm gonna start cutting zip ties. I'm gonna reuse the loom if I can. I mean, it's not too expensive, but nowadays everything has a price. And to process all this, I'm using an LC7i because I still have the factory radio. I didn't think at the time I needed to remove it because it has GPS and hands-free, all that, but I can't play my music through it, which I don't like. And I like the option of having a nice digital radio, especially like Android CarPlay, something like that. It's what I really want. Like everything else nowadays, prices of everything's gone up. Just unbelievably ridiculous. The facts are facts. It's kind of suck is I won't have a radio when I move these two 4-channel lamps. I'm not gonna have any music, which is fine. It's quiet enough in my vehicle I'm driving that I can just use my regular phone. Oh, good lord. Here, son. I need 2 hands. That's one. I do have engine noise in my 4-channel lamps because I don't have a ground going all the way from the front to the back. That's one of my things I'm definitely going to do is run, I don't know, another 2-aught ground, or remove the 2-aught power cable I have and use 2 1-aught Sundown Audio OFC 10 wire. I like the 10 wire better. It doesn't do this over time. If you can see, it starts to kind of not melt, but it's corroding, it's oxidizing.
It looks like it's melting.
The 10 OFC don't do that. Anyway, and again, I'm sorry for the audio. I know the audio on this piece of junk sucks. But I do have some learning to do with myself. It's a big difference in doing car audio than versus trying to learn how to video and edit stuff. That's why I never really got into it. But like I said, as far as it goes, I'm going to learn. So bear with me. But anytime you hear engine noise in your car, it's usually a ground problem. If you really know how electricity works and the flow of electrons, then you would know what's going on. When electrons are moved through wire or something conductive, you have positive and negative charges in the wire. Basically what's happening is negative wants to get back to negative. So on a neutron or an atom, you have neutrons around it which they want to give away a negative neutron as well as take one. That's kind of how actually transistors work too. Wow. Looks like the start of a beehive. But when you're using just your car to ground, the neutrons don't want to move as easy through regular steel. So yeah, you might be using OFC from your alternator to your chassis, but when you're using OFC from the alternator all the way to the battery, you get way better flow of electrons. Another thing is the better, or the more freely they can move, the better your charging system is, the faster it can charge. Basically, it'd be a whole nother session I can go through on how that works. That's why they use a lot of copper for, I mean, gold's the best as far as that goes, but when it comes to like FETs or transistors, they use different materials. Positively charged, negatively charged, and positively charged. That's where you get PNP or NPN for the base collector emitter. Which is very interesting how it works. All it is 3 pieces of metal that are very finely in there. You have to use a microscope to see. How they used to do it back in the old days, back in the 50s when transistors started to come in the picture. Back then it was, Nixie tubes, glass tubes, is how they did it. But again, that's a story for another time. I can get into it a little bit deeper. I think I'm telling it right. I have to refresh my memory, but I know the reason why electricity works better when you're using a straight wire versus if you're grounded to your chassis of your vehicle and hoping that's for the best sound from the back. Yeah, if you have enough wire, you can do that, but there ain't no reason to do all that. If you just run the wire from the front to the back, you can eliminate having 4 or 5 grounds from the chassis to a distribution block per se. But anyway, already at 11 minutes on this video. Okay, I gotta find out what goes where. So this one goes to the 4 channel, both of them. I think it's this one. Nope. Okay. And that should be that on that. Go ahead and undo the grounds just in case. I should get my cutters out and cut them so I don't get copper everywhere, but no big deal. I'm taking this floor out. I've got a 3rd row seat. I'm taking it out too. I'm literally gonna build a nice box. Like I said, I can't decide if I want just to keep the 2 subs, just recone them, and keep the hardware I have, and just build a box and keep it simple. Or get 1 more 15, or 2 more, and then completely change everything up, and spend a gob amount of money. Which sounds much better, but in reality, if I can't get a good deal on all of it, I ain't gonna do all that. I'm not going to spend top dollar if I'm going to spend, $10,000. I don't want to spend, full amount for everything. That's just asinine, ridiculous. So now I've got that going to these amps. So these should be good. I shouldn't have no voltage on here. But being safe and sorry, let's grab out the meter here. Unfortunately, I still do have voltage. Imagine that. How is that? Is it? I must have undone the wrong one. This wire, no. That is the split for the positives. So somehow I still got juice. And that could be a reason why. That's definitely interesting. On both terminals. Okay. Interesting. Well, let's undo this ground here. This is for the sub amp. And I do want to change this to 1/0. It's much easier to work with than this thick Sky High 2/0. Stuff just doesn't bend very well. And I'm going to unhook all this.
Need me to hold the camera?
Now I shouldn't have no power on that. All unhooked. Excuse me. Honestly, I'm not too sure where the hell this voltage is coming from. 14.5. It could be residual power in the capacitors. 14 volts though. I'm not feeling it. Let's take the ground out. At this point, oh, I think I know what it is. Okay. So I'll plug these bad boys. Goodness gracious. This is for the LC7. Now let's see. Yeah. I can do one other thing. These. That's right. That ain't that. There ain't nothing else hooked up. It's quite interesting. Mercy almighty, I have no clue. Doesn't matter, I'm gonna start removing everything though. Come around this way. Sure why I'm still getting positive connection in this ground, because the grounds are not hooked up. Shouldn't be anything, but there is. It's interesting. I mean, literally. Yeah. These grounds are hooked up, but these are not. feeder amps. God only knows what fucking phenomena is going on. Alright. And the battery's literally unhooked.
Yeah, there's no blue light under it.
All that was this remote. Big deal. Like literally, no battery. And imagine that battery did just as much as like 4 excess power D3400s, or probably even more than that. So anyhow, now let me check. Yeah, I'm still reading 14.6, so it's gotta be. There's no battery in here, none. So this is what's got to be just on the charge capacitors. Incredible, right? No fucking battery. Alright. Yeah, because my main wire coming from the front is hooked to a distribution block, and the only thing hooked to that is a damn alternator. And just to prove there's no power, nothing's coming on. None of my lights are coming on. Nothing. So anyway, just about done here. Let's remove this one first. That's that, and those. Now I can take out this whole amp rack. Son, please hold this.
That seashell smells like rotten fish.
What? Check. Go ahead and remove this. Alright. Yep, I had a screw behind there. I would have played like hell trying to get that off, not realizing there's a screw behind it. Quite muggy out here right now. There it is. An amp rack. Alright folks, I'm going to end it with that. Almost right at 25 minutes. All I'm going to do is just put the battery back in, and then I'll finish again tomorrow. Take out the brackets and whatnot. Thank you for watching. Y'all enjoy yourself.